Hey everybody, Tactical Boondoggle here. Just going to do a tabletop review of the Walther PPQ. As typical for my gun reviews, I like to go through a couple talking points. Here are my talking points, a couple notes just so I don't say too much. So, going to start out with the history of the PPQ. This pistol is based off of it stands for the Police Pistol Quick Defense, PPQ. And it was created as a potential replacement for the P99 as well as the P99 QA, and it shares most of the main features of that particular firearm. Special notable features, I'll go through most of those while I'm doing the review, but of the most notable, it would be the ergonomics and the trigger. The trigger is just absolutely fantastic. As far as caliber goes, the PPQ comes in 9mm and 40 Smith & Wesson. This particular firearm is 9mm, and for all of you safety people, conscious people out there, this pistol was checked to be safe before. Don't want to waste too much time talking about that. Size-wise, I always like to bust out the Glock 19 as a comparison, and from a length perspective, you can see that the PPQ is just a tad bit longer, if I can get that to focus there. Not too big of a deal. From a grip perspective, you can see that the PPQ is just a tad bit longer in the grip and the frame there. Both have the magazines installed. From the width perspective, they're very close. I would say the PPQ might be just a tad bit wider, but overall you can see that they have extremely similar footprints. They're definitely very close to each other. So let me put that bad guy away. As far as the sights, the sight radius for the PPQ, you can see it's a 3-dot sight. You can actually get a little bit of daylight between the spacing there, and the sight radius for this is actually 6.1. It's really good. The grip and ergos, as I mentioned before, is absolutely fabulous. It has a adjustable back strap there that just makes this gun feel really nice in your hands. The stippling on it has a fantastic texture to it that is great for grip, but it also is great for that when you're carrying it in a holster, it's not going to scratch you up really bad. Not something like the FN that definitely would scratch you up pretty good. Magazine capacity, this holds 15 rounds, as you can see. Not too shabby for, you know, a duty pistol, home defense type pistol, anything like that. Operations. This is a striker fired pistol. The construction being a stainless slide and a polymer frame. It does have ambidextrous controls. You can see that the magazine releases on both sides. The slide releases on both sides. Takedown pieces on both sides, which is required for this particular type. The way that this operates is called a short recoil operated locked breech semi-auto. It's a mouthful. It basically just means that as the bullet fires, the spent gas pushes the slide back and loads the next round. Pretty simple. Decocker and safety, obviously there isn't one for this particular pistol, being that it's striker fired. It is probably the best trigger, if not top 3. Well, may not be the top, but top 3. Great trigger. It's a very soft trigger all the way up to finally pulling or finally breaking. It is approximately 0.4 inches in trigger length, and it is a 0.1 inch reset. So if you pull the trigger here, you can see that 0.4 inches there, and approximately, I believe this is about 5-pound pull force, which seems like a lot, and especially compared to a Glock, I think it's pretty close to the same. But this trigger just feels so much better. Now getting back into the reset's 0.1 inches. It's really short. very short, but audible. It is tactile. You can feel it. Really, really nice trigger. Mag release. This is probably one of the down parts of the PPQ, if I can say that it's really a down side. It's just something I'm not used to. It's got this mag release that's down on the trigger guard here, and you can see you push down, and that's what actually pops the magazine out. Just something that's different. So if you're going to carry this weapon, something you should be aware of and that you should train to. Nothing like going to hit the magazine release if you're used to a thumb release and being like, oh crap, oh yeah, then it's down here, it's too late. You've already lost a couple of those important seconds when seconds count. Takedown, like I said, it's really close to a Glock in that you pull this, you basically pull back on the slide, you pull down on these two levers, and it will go forward. That's about the same as a Glock. Easy cleaning, really easy to clean, just very similar to a Glock. Kick and bore axis. This is probably another place that I don't necessarily like the Walther. And that's because when you start looking at the bore axis, and if I can hold these up to be similar on the bottom part of the slide, you can actually see how much more area there is underneath here compared to the Glock. And what that means, it pushes the barrel up higher. And with the barrel being up that much higher, when you're holding the pistol and you're shooting it, it gives it more leverage and means that the pistol's gonna end up having a little more muzzle flip. So you're reacquiring of the targets as you're firing. If it kicks it up higher, that means you're having to push down that much farther. It takes that much longer to reacquire your targets, which can result in just longer times between shots. When time counts, you know, that's something to be considerate of. Okay, reliability. Not too much to say here about reliability. This is a really reliable gun. Haven't had any issues with it. It's been fantastic. The reason I purchased it was mostly geared towards concealed carry and to try out that trigger. I really enjoy that trigger. Use cases, really it's good for anything from training to plinking, having fun, range toy, survival, zombies even, or something to the effect of home defense, and again, concealed carry. That's mostly what this is geared towards, concealed carry and also the duty weapon aspect. Availability, really, this pistol is actually rather available out on the market. It's a little harder right now just due to the kind of gun scare that's going on. But parts and holsters and gunsmiths are all fairly acknowledged as far as this pistol going in and coming out working better. There's not a whole lot of things to improve on it that wouldn't just take a whole redesign, such as, you know, the higher bore axis and stuff like that, or changing out the magazine release. So with that, just want to say thanks everybody for subscribing and watching, and stay safe and keep shooting, because a gun is only as good as the shooter. And keep tuned for the shooting of this actual pistol. Thanks. Out here today shooting the Walther PPQ. 10 or 11 rounds of Winchester white box. Gonna be shooting an 8-inch round AR-500 steel target at 15 yards. I think I missed 2 in there somewhere. Yeah, missed 2. Not too shabby. Shooting the Walther PPQ 9mm. Shooting 10 rounds of MagTech. Again, 9mm. Gonna be shooting at an 8-inch round AR-500 steel at about 15 yards. thing's got a sweet trigger. Oh, I cocked two right on the edge. It's not too shabby though. Like I said, that thing's got an awesome trigger. Walther PPQ, just gonna do a recoil shot here. 10 rounds of Winchester white box. Shooting the Walther PPQ, shoot 15 rounds of Remington UMC 9mm, about 15 yards, recoil. Got the Walther PPQ here. Gonna be doing a rear recoil, shooting a 14-inch gong. Got five rounds of Sellier Bellot loaded up. Gonna be shooting the Walther PPQ, 12 yards, got a plate rack set up. We're shooting blazer brass, and just gonna be showing a little bit of the transition speed and close range accuracy. Walther PPQ, shooting blazer brass right at 12 yards, just going to do some plate rack work. Going to do Walther PPQ. I got 15 rounds of Winchester white box loaded up, 15 yards, just going to do a mag dump on the IPSC target. I'd have to say I like that grouping. Real center of mass there. Pretty happy with that.